it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you.
Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Stephanie with Steph's on a Budget, and we're finally ready to our debt confession for where we're starting January of 2023. So if you haven't watched my first couple videos, we started the Budget Mom Method in January of 2020. So this is starting our third year of budgeting, and we've paid off quite a bit of debt since then, including, a couple of motorcycle loans, personal loan, some credit cards, and then of course we've also added back into debt as well. So we're going to be taking a look to see where we're officially starting for this year with our debt. These aren't really in any particular order in how I plan to pay them. I don't follow the debt snowball or even really the debt avalanche method. I just kind of evaluate the priority debt and then take a look. Once that one's paid, then I take a look again at what I've got and then kind of decide from there what's the next best debt for us to pay off. Oftentimes I might pay off a debt that's going to free up the biggest payment for us throughout a month versus something with, the lowest amount on it or the highest interest. So I often kind of set my debt up in that way. Not always, but it's one way I've looked at it a lot in the past. So again, these aren't going to be in any particular order. You'll kind of see as we work through debts that, we just kind of pick one to work on. I do think I have an idea of what we're kind of focusing on, at least for the beginning half of this year. And then, things change based on, just finances throughout the year. So jumping in, the first thing we have is a Home Depot credit card, and that balance is sitting at $2,913.10. The interest rate on that is anywhere from 0 to 26%, and the minimum payment is $39 right now. And the reason there's kind of a range in the interest is a lot of this balance is promotional stuff. So, we may, right now I can tell you the balance on there is for a washer and dryer we purchased last year, and it has 0% interest until July of this year, which is why this is currently our number one debt, because I need that paid off by July so I don't accrue any interest on that. So right now the balance of the card has 0% interest, but if we were to go use it and swipe it in the store or something like that, then the interest for that purchase would be at 26%. So that's kind of where we're at with the Home Depot. Our next debt is a Capital One card, and that balance is $451.80, and that interest is at 26% with a minimum payment of $25. And then we have another Capital One at $457.78, same thing, 26% interest, and the minimum payment on that is $25 also. I'm going to turn my paper this way just because I'm running out of room here. The next one is another credit card, and that sits at $3,060, and that interest rate is at 13%. The minimum payment is $60. So most of these beginning ones are all credit cards. This next one is by far our biggest, and it's a Citi card at $7,988.81, and it's 16% interest, and the minimum payment I think is actually $220 right now. So definitely our highest card, and one I'd like to get kind of focused on at some point this year for sure. Then we have an Amazon card, at $667.86. And then my husband typically pays this, so I'm not sure what the minimum payment is. I'm not sure what the interest rate is on this. I would imagine it's somewhere in the 20s. And then the minimum payment is $40. Now, some of this, actually about half of this was a Christmas present for one of my daughters. And it is at 0% interest with like broken up into payments of like $40 a month for 12 months, and then it's paid off. So half of this is 0% interest, and then the other half, it sits at whatever the 20 some odd percent is for that card. I'm just not sure what it is, but I know the minimum payment is $40. And then we have an Apple Card, and this is a card that we actually had paid off to 0 back in October, and then unfortunately we used it for Christmas. And so again, it's kind of like the same with some of these other cards. The interest is anywhere from 0% to 23%. So, kind of everyday regular purchases that you would make on this card are at 23% interest, and we don't use this card a lot for that type of use. Most of this balance is a 0% interest installment balance on a iPad. And then my husband's phone last week decided it was no longer going to charge, and so unfortunately he had to order a new phone. So that jumped this balance way up there, unfortunately. So this card is back up there. I think the minimum payment is going to be around $150, maybe at the most $170 for those installments. So I'm kind of waiting for one of those to still come through, but I'm guesstimating around that. So the next one is a Bank of America card. This is another card we had paid off, unfortunately, for a long time, and then I couldn't tell you why we started using it again. I will say 2020 was a rougher year for us budgeting wise. Especially the second half of the year, we did tend to kind of fall off our kind of stricter regiment of finances, and so some of that is unfortunately reflecting here. So $825.41, and there's a promotion on that. I think the interest rate's normally around like 23-26%. It's pretty high, but they mailed like a promotional thing, I think because the balance was at 0 to kind of get us using the card again. It sits at like 5% for 18 months or something like that, which is better, so I'll take it. The minimum payment on that I put at 100 because I wasn't sure. This is another one that my husband pays, and it's actually $25, so I did figure that out. So that minimum payment is a lot less than that 100 there. Okay, and then next is a Pandora credit card at $443.16. That's at 0%. There was a promotion on that sits at that for about a year, which will probably I think is up in August. So the minimum payment on that one is $30. And then that's going to take care of all of the credit cards. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 credit cards, unfortunately. I'm hoping we could at least get that in half by the end of this year. That's kind of my goal, but we'll see. So in total, for just credit card debt, we're looking at $20,230.44. So quite a bit. We've been kind of averaging, I would say, anywhere between like 13 to our first year, we hit $20,000 in debt paid off, but our expenses were significantly lower. And so I don't think that's a realistic goal for us this year. I think I would be happy with anywhere between the $10,000 and $13,000 range paid off in debt this year. So that's kind of goal-wise where we're sitting. This next debt is the one that I was waiting to come in, and I know a lot of people aren't going to be in agreement with it, and that's okay. You don't have to be. These are my finances. This is my budget. So, the good news is you don't have to worry about it, I guess. But we did purchase a new vehicle in December. remember we had that car accident in August. We were rear-ended and our vehicle was totaled, and it is just not the time to be purchasing a car. I would not be doing this if it was avoidable at all, but we have had no vehicle and it's been very, very tough. I definitely do not want to go back to that again. Could we have purchased a much more, affordable vehicle? Absolutely. But, we are really big on camping and just being outdoors, and this is the vehicle that suits that for us. So here we are, unavoidable in some ways, but I don't regret the decision. It just is what it is, and it'll be okay. But so brand new, we're looking at $66,084 at 4% interest rate. So it's a much higher minimum payment than we had before on our other vehicle, but we purchased that pre all of this craziness in the world, and so we had gotten a great deal and rebates, and that just doesn't exist anymore. So that's where we're at with the new vehicle. I do still have a little bit of a student loan left. I actually had this paid down to $63.98, so I had paid about $600 off even during all the deferment of student loans, and I did get a refund on that. It's sitting in a savings account in case the forgiveness doesn't go through, because 100% of this would be forgiven if that gets approved. So right now it's sitting there on the off chance it's not, so that we don't have to start that payment over again. But $6,998 for a student loan, 0% interest, obviously, and then the minimum payment is $0. But remember, you saw that I still keep this. The minimum payment, I think, is $95 normally, so I still keep that $100 in my budget, because eventually I expect that to come back, and didn't want my budget to get used to not seeing that number in there. So when and if those payments come back, it's not going to be a big impact to my budget at all. So next up, we have a mortgage. We did just purchase a home. We've been in our home a year now, and so not much of that payment goes towards that principal right now at all in any way. So we're not seeing a big change in the mortgage, but currently our mortgage right now sits at $338,690.41, and our interest on that is 3.25%. And our mortgage just went up. It was about $2,100 less for the first year, and it just went up to about $2,300. It's like $2,994, something like that. I'm just rounding it up. But that was due to like an escrow shortage and property taxes and whatnot increasing, so kind of a jump in that payment as well. So let's see, adding those two, so if I add in just the truck and the student loan into the credit card debt, that puts us at $93,312.44. Obviously, this is my main focus. I don't count my mortgage debt in my debt right now. I mean, I do, but I don't. This is the number that I'm focusing on. This is what we would call consumer debt, I guess, right? So this is the number, and then with the mortgage, we're looking at $432,002.85. So, quite a big difference. But mentally, it is. I have it's going to be a long time before we're focusing on mortgage early payoff, a long time. So in my head, it's easier to just look at, break it down. It's kind of an easier pill to swallow, right? And you don't feel so overwhelmed, and you can keep with forward movement on your debt. So looking at just my credit card debt, like, okay, this number is much easier to swallow than this number. So you feel a little bit more comfortable, like, okay, that's doable, right? And then you progress, you get that down, then you progress, and it's like, okay, you know, this number is a lot easier than $400,000. And so it doesn't feel quite as overwhelming as like the big overall number. So I like to break it up in that way just to kind of, you know, keep the mind frame in a good place versus like the whelm of feeling like everything's impossible, if that makes sense. But yeah, so that is a look at our current debt that we're starting with in January of 2023. And right now our main focus is this Home Depot credit card that we're working on. So I kind of made this debt tracker. So for in January, our starting balance is that $93,312. And then what my intention is to, at the end of my kind of January budget, I'll put in how much we paid towards debt here, and then have that new February balance. So I just thought this would be a nice way to kind of look at, you know, our debt on kind of a bigger scale throughout the year. And it's just kind of a nice quick way to say, you know, hey, we went from 93 to, you know, 91, hopefully, and then just so on throughout the year. So just kind of a little tracker that I put together. Also, this form, a debt snowball check-in, I purchased this a long time ago from Marlene over at Snow Gardener 307 Budgets. I'm from her Etsy shop. And so I've just set this up to our current primary debt, which is that Home Depot card, because that 0% interest, like I said, is going to run out. So $29.13 is our starting balance. I have a payoff goal for this of the end of April 30th. And I've just got my minimum payment listed, but then also my snowball. So we should be sending at least $539 a month to that debt, and hopefully more. So I will plan to kind of do this check-in with you guys at the end of January to see how much we put towards our debt overall individually, but particularly this card that's getting like the bigger snowball payment. Also, just to keep things fun, we'll be coloring in this credit card debt tracker from the Budget Mom. This is in her free resources. So if you're interested, you can find it there on her website under her free resources. So again, our Home Depot card at that $29.13. So each card equals $97. So at the end of the month, hopefully we'll be coloring a bunch of these in. You know, just these little fun things are a nice way to kind of keep engaged with your budget and hopefully make the process of debt payoff somewhat enjoyable. It's always good to see, you know, your progress in ways, you know, other than just the numbers, to keep you motivated. This little guy here is going to be a tracker for just credit card debt payoff. So, you know, it's 100 leaves, each leaves $203. So every time we pay off $203 towards our credit card debt, we'll color in one of these until hopefully we're able to fill in the whole spiral. And then I've got, and this one I got from Debt Free Charts. She has a lot of free kind of different debt-free charts on her website now if you want to check it out. Lots of different kind of like fun coloring pages and trackers for paying off debt and savings. So debt-free charts for this one. And then my next tracker is going to be for that total debt of that $93,000. So all that consumer debt. And this one again was a free resource from the Budget Mom. So every time we get $933 paid off of our debt, we'll be able to color in a star. This one's going to take us a lot longer, but should also kind of, you know, just keep it fun in the long run. So yeah, so that's what we're looking at for debt and how we plan to kind of track and make things fun and engaging while we're on our debt-free journey. But thanks for, if you made it this far, thanks for tuning in. I hope you give it a like, and I hope you subscribe to the channel and, you know, be a part of our journey in becoming more financially free. But take care, guys. Bye.
We do this every day, and And I'm still so amazed by you.